che deve passare sotto. Ricordate che passa sotto.
È vero che c'è un po', ma questo non è questo.
Non è questo.
C'è dell'acqua.
I know he has a name. I
No.
see. You're looking.
Nobody knows his name.
Oh.
Well, nobody.
Rowboats. I see. I heard he found his backpack in his car, right? Yeah.
I wish I had her money. Yeah. What's happening? Okay. I did all three before, and I tried to look for things that weren't so touristy, especially around Christmas time, you know, but... So did you walk through Florida to get there? No.
Yeah, but actually,
That I missed. And we try to pack as much in as we can in a day, right?
walk and made that pretty. And we have independent.
You will. And you'll have to see, you'll have to look on the east side. Yes, yes, yes.
And the little pond before it.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, Nicole.
Okay.
And Ken and I do races. And it's very
Yeah, it's funny because I was Atlanta is part of the training. People that basically
I don't know what.
Oh. Say something.
But yeah, the races here are fun.
Yes, we get the
verging on Altoona, Pennsylvania right now.
They have a name.
They won't. They say they do.
Yeah, that's what
I've enjoyed this. I've demandé là.
En fait, pour l'anglais là.
Vas-y, toi.
Sinon, on lui dit est-ce que tu prends un petit tour au
One more minute at the Hunter Center.
Julian, c'est très très bon, tu vois. Take care. Nice to meet you. T'as fait un peu? Vas-y, fais tomber maintenant dans ta tête. Aïe? Mais rentre, je t'en vais la claquer. Allez, viens. Non, allez, c'est bon. Mais rentre là, ici.
People, if you come here in the summertime, you think,
Did you know that you can go fishing here? Yeah. You can go fishing in Central Park Lakes without You're not people That's another New York City restaurant in Central Park that's rather famous. Really cool. See it in you guys all would hear it salad. Lloyd Boathouse had to shut its doors after COVID hit the city. Back then, it was trouble reopening because they had a lot of personnel problems, and they took advantage of the opportunity to mark. And as far as I know, they've only been reopened on a full-time basis since last year. And you know what? That's also why they're not doing the boat ride. You can rent boat ride. Hello there.
Okay. So I'm not wrong. If you look at Twitter recently, it's like every single thing is like, I'm not. It's so much okay. Okay, you're like, okay, this is what it is. Oh, I can imagine. You're probably like, oh, I would. And they're probably like, oh, yeah, what did you wrote about? Yeah, but to me, it's fascinating how it is.
What was wrong with that?
How do we know this is? I do not know who he is, but it was his wife, Shelley.
We could start them in when I talk if they're not in there. When it's
Not
also
today. I'm like, oh my God, I met her. I didn't know who he is. Well, I wish you could like.
I forgot my card.
Okay, before you come, our truck is parked right at the top of the steps. Can you double check it's locked? Let's see. All right. We're down here already. We're getting set. Gotta go. Bye. Bye.
Only by acting like Smith. It was very nice meeting you.
Hey, it's 39.
You just tell me the IP. I got it.
212?
Yep.
580?
Yep.
302.
Do you have a lock, babe? Okay, tell Sergio to bring over. All right, just no, you cannot run out. Just call him and tell him to bring his. I'll use this for now. But...
Hey, when you come down, can you bring a wired lock? Cool, thanks.
This big break coming less than 24 hours after Mayor Eric Adams told me the net is closing, that investigators are feeling very comfortable, feeling more and more comfortable. They're getting close. The net is closing. The investigators were feeling comfortable. They were getting closer and closer to making an arrest. The team of NYPD officers had been in Atlanta area looking for leads there, but they have wrapped
that mission and are now focused on Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is about 230 miles from here. It's a town between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. We now know a man is being questioned there who has a similar weapon as the suspect. The murder weapon, that's what NYPD died. I guess go over maybe that. Yeah, because they're not in the water.
Just make sure your hard step out.
Or do you want to move more over here?
I've got them over your shoulder where you were standing.
Okay, all right. He was found not guilty?
Yep.
Can you let them know we're up? And can you ask them how long they are before they're coming to me?
They went through?
I know. Alex D was like, people are coming to this sooner.
Stephanie.
They won't have
What's your
enough
name?
for
Nice to meet you again. Bucks?
All right.
There's a difference
They'll
of
tell me.
different groups, right?
No, I had a pretty
All right.
solid,
Ah,
solid breakfast.
you're not the national one.
No, we're not there. No, we're not there.
You're more than welcome to.
So we're like what NBC4 is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. 'Cause I got
They're searching for something.
they were so sweet. Hey, hey.
They think they might have job company.
So funny to say. I try not to say that, but say
6-7 minutes away from us.
you know, look at that. Whenever I see myself, I always try to stop myself. Oh, it's great myself. Not that it matters that much. Because I think you're talking and you don't know.
Yeah, and that's
Got a sunnier day.
Do you have a tissue? I'll take it. Come here, Sergio, again. Wait, one more, Sergio. I found my phone now. I need to do that. It's too cold. We're not doing this.
Just that the assassination last week.
Attorney is for me at the end.
They got his backpack.
This big break comes less than 24 hours after Mayor Eric Adams told me the net is closing, that investigators were feeling comfortable they were getting closer and closer to making an arrest. A team of NYPD officers had been in the Atlanta area looking for any kind of leads there, but have now wrapped that mission and are now focused on Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is about 230 miles from here, between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. We now know a man is being questioned there who has a similar weapon as the suspect, a murder weapon. Oh, it looks like they're going to go in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, this is your
Needed me.
The victim. Yes.
No, I know.
See, I told her they knew something. I'm just gonna stay here because I don't think they're gonna find anything. Yeah, once it starts raining, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, it's supposed to like 100% by noon. Like any minute.
5 minutes. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. They got a long ass break though. Water too. Here they come. They're coming out again.
Is it a city or a town?
Yeah. Yeah, why you put the mask off? I mean, it's cold enough. You can get away from wearing it.
Yeah, like if you want to get it done, you know, wear the mask,
Yeah.
get it to go. And eat it in your once you get a massive man,
He was found. He had.
where are you gonna hide? How are you gonna have that hat?
Of course, that's what he used to go into the
Unless they
hospital.
never found out the guy's name.
I mean, yeah,
You just have to go undetected either get out of the country immediately.
yeah.
Immediately.
Like you do it, then you go to the airport. You
Go to the airport, it's
because you're in like Central America.
So why are we in the car?
Or
Some
something.
place where they don't have an extradition treaty.
And then, and that's, but you have to be fairly sure that you're going to be able to get away with it for 10 hours. Because you got to get that. Otherwise, they'll just grab you in the air.
Right.
Or I think I don't think I'll the worst place in the world as long as we keep it. You got to go, just like, you got to go to Unabomber. You got to go, the house has got to be set up for you ahead of time.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to just hunker down until the guy's down.
Down, guys down, and people aren't, you're not the biggest story in America.
Okay.
You know. Somebody's so smart.
Well, it was
Caught
like-
at
it was like-
McDonald's.
We don't know if it's the same guy.
I mean,
How many people walk around with big ideas and silences?
fake IDs, a gun, and a silencer.
I would be more likely to believe
That would be like, wow. No,
I'd
that
be more
is-
likely to believe that it was not a gun or a silencer. So what you said, I saw
I
something.
kept this safe. I'm gonna walk away with this. That's good. Ready.
So that was count one of count two. Once I dropped the first two.
Yeah, that's true. Small town. The guy, although he didn't think he'd get caught. He got caught in McDonald's too. You know, it's McDonald's. They all go to McDonald's. They all go to McDonald's. All the two. You gotta go local. Up there.
But there's less cameras. Less cameras in the local.
You gotta go to the mop pop.
I bet it to be a McDonald's franchise, you have to have a certain amount of years.
Putting out on record right now.
That's good. thought to be similar to the one used in the killing of the city. Was taken into custody on Monday. Questioned. It's for the more reliable source.
Person and not even walked into a McDonald's, arrived in the city by bus, witness recognized him, called police. Just say a witness. Okay. On him was a fake New Jersey driver's license, which is what he checked into the hospital to on the Upper West Side. Also a computer and a gun.
I read it, and I was like, oh, I already know how to be surprised.
Okay, all right.
They were born so that's what we need. We need, you know, you need the mom, you need the gutter, you need all, you know, it's a whole good media diet is everything, you know.
And they're getting the net is closing.
Well, first you open the app, we like to track everything you do, and the things that you buy and sell.
A team of NYPD officers have been in the Atlanta area looking for these, but they have now wrapped that mission. Are now focused in Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is about 230 miles from here. It's a city between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. We know now a man is in custody.
Yeah, they told me 3 o'clock. So I was like, they're not going to have me out there for free. Well, looking for a gun that they know someday I would have.
Somewhere else. If this is a sign.
They don't let us dive in this lake very often. It's hazard pay at the water so cardamom, ate it.
A little more information.
I said cardamom. Turmeric.
This is a big break coming less than 24 hours after Mayor Eric Adams told me the net is closing. A team of NYPD officers had been in the Atlanta area looking for leads there, but have now wrapped that mission and focused their attention on Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Person you can't drink tequila because that one time in college, for me it's like upset stomach in Egypt and I can't.
24 hours after Mayor Eric Adams told me that the net was closing. A team of NYPD officers had been in the Atlanta area looking for any leads there, but they have now wrapped that mission and yes, focused their attention on Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is a city about 230 miles from here between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. We now know a man is in custody who has who also has a similar weapon used in the murder. The murder weapon, that's what divers have been looking for here in this pond in Central Park. But depending on what happens in Pennsylvania, that may affect this.
More stuff and they take stuff there. They do all kind of run together at some point. Unless people are getting arrested.
I started seeing the same faces every single
Just sort of blowing it around Midtown aimlessly. Maybe if you wait here long enough as they pop out of the water.
Well, David, this big break coming less than 24 hours after Mayor Eric Adams told me the net was closing. A team of NYPD officers had been in the Atlanta area looking for any leads, but have now wrapped that mission and have shifted their focus, yes, on Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's a city, again, about 270 miles from here between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. We now know, yes, a man is in custody. And also what's interesting is that they found on him a weapon that is very similar to the weapon used in this murder. I want you to take a look what's going on here in Central Park. Divers are just about to get back into this pond near Bethesda Fountain. This is day 3. They are searching the water for a possible murder weapon. But again, depending on what happens in Altoona, Pennsylvania, they may clear this scene as well. It is day 3 of this methodical search in this pond for really any evidence in this case. We're also seeing new video from the last Wednesday morning, right before the shooting. You see the suspect, as Police Commissioner Jessica described, lying in wait on West 54th Street. He knows precisely the moment United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson appears walking outside the building at around 6:45 Wednesday morning. The suspect makes his move, walks across the street, and opens fire. The suspect took off, riding a bike through Central Park. He ditched his backpack in the park. He jumped in a taxi, and investigators believe he took a bus out of town, possibly to Pennsylvania. A motive? That is still a mystery, but we may soon know more, depending on what happens again in Altoona. This nationwide manhunt includes multi-agencies on the local, state, and federal level. made me post to that. Again, a live report. There are a pair of divers here in the pond in Central Park. Again, investigators think that the suspect was in Central Park after the murder for about 12 to 17 minutes, and that he may have come here and ditched that weapon. The person out in Altoona, we're learning new, he walked into a McDonald's and he arrived in that city by bus. A witness recognized him. Remember, investigators have been very thorough, releasing all kinds of images of the suspect. So that person then called police. On him, on that person in Altoona, is a fake New Jersey driver's license, which of course was used to check into the hostel here in New York City on the Upper West Side. Also on that person, a computer and again a gun matching the weapon that was used in this murder. Mayor Adams expected to receive the reporters at about 1:30 today. We're sure that police will be there and we will bring all the information to you here and of course on ABC 7 New York. So now we're live in Central Park. Kimberly Richardson, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Desde el lunes fuimos testigos de cómo los buzos de la NYPD regresaron hasta aquí, hasta el lago del Parque Central, a seguir buscando evidencia sobre este asesinato. Desde el lunes fuimos testigos de cómo la NYPD regresó con sus buzos hacia aquí, hasta este lago donde Este lunes fuimos testigos de cómo los buses de la NYPD regresaron hasta aquí, hasta este lago del Parque Central, a seguir buscando posible evidencia sobre este asesinato.
I tried to do
Desde lunes fuimos testigos de cómo los buzos de la NYPD regresaron hasta este lago aquí en el Parque Central a seguir. Desde lunes fuimos testigos de cómo los buzos de la NYPD regresaron hasta aquí, hasta este lago del Parque Central, a seguir buscando evidencia sobre este asesinato. Desde lunes fuimos testigos de cómo los buses de la NYPD regresaron hasta aquí, hasta el lago en el Parque Central, a seguir buscando evidencia sobre este asesinato. De cómo los buses de la NYPD regresaron hasta aquí, hasta este lago del Parque Central, a seguir buscando evidencia posiblemente sobre este asesinato. Este lunes fuimos testigos de cómo los buzos de la NYPD regresaron hasta aquí, hasta el lago del Parque Central, posiblemente a seguir encontrando evidencia sobre este asesinato.
How long does it take to drive 200? They said the only reason I changed it to 270 is in the article they said 270. I said, we'll be consistent. We'll be consistent. Yeah. I spoke to you. Match the stuff. What he looks like. morning. It's 6 day and a big break that investigators have been looking for. Divers are here in the pond looking for a possible murder weapon. Canine units are also here in Central Park, but it is off the ship given this breaking development. Several caravans of NYPD officers are here right now heading to Altoona, Pennsylvania, traveling west on Route 8 in New Jersey. My colleague Anthony Johnson and Cameron and Angelo Martin are also heading there. Right now, a man is in custody. Investigators say matches the description of the murder suspect. He's a 26-year-old man. New video shows the suspect Wednesday morning, officials say, lying in wait on West 54th Street. He makes his move right around 6:45 a.m., ambushing and shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Now back here live again, divers are in the pond here in Central Park, but we may see this operation later, given what authorities say was on that person in custody in Pennsylvania, a weapon matching the one used in this murder, a computer, a fake ID, a New Jersey driver's license. You can match it up similarly, say, to the one you did at this person arrived in Altoona this morning, which is about 270 miles from here. He arrived by bus, walked into McDonald's. Someone spotted him. Remember, investigators have been peppering the media with pictures of the suspect. The person spotted this man. Yes, and this investigation now in its 6th day and a huge break that investigators have been looking for. Let me show you what's going on first here in Central Park. Divers are in the pond looking for a possible murder weapon. Canine units are also here in Central Park, but again, all of this could shift given this bridge in development. Several caravans of NYPD officers and police right now heading to Altoona, Pennsylvania, traveling westbound Route 80 in New Jersey. My colleague Anthony Johnson and cameraman Angelo Martin are also heading there. Right now, a man is in custody. Investigators say matches the description of the murder suspect. He's a 26-year-old man. New video shows the suspect Wednesday morning, as officials say, lying in wait on West 54th Street. He makes his move right around 6:45 a.m., ambushes and shoots and kills United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Now back here live again, the divers are here in the pond of Central Park, but we may see all of this operation wrap up. Given what authorities say, they also found again on that 26-year-old man now in custody in Pennsylvania a weapon matching the one used in this murder, a computer, and get this, a fake New Jersey driver's license. That was similar to the one used when the suspect checked into that hostel on the Upper West Side. The person arrived in Altoona this morning. He came in by bus. It's about 270 miles from here. He walked into a McDonald's. Someone spotted him. Remember, authorities have been relentless and methodical about getting out images of the suspect. That person spotted this man in a McDonald's, called police, and took him into custody. What's fascinating, and we'll hope to learn more, the mayor plans some brief reporters at 1:30 this afternoon. This town, out to the city, Altoona, is only about 270 miles from here. So where has the suspect been since Wednesday? Did he go straight there? Had he been staying other places? We'll have to hope to learn more, but again, a very big break, something we've all been looking for in this investigation. We're now live in Central Park. I'm Rosanna Scotto, Channel 7. Eyewitness in the park.
Are hard at work trying to look for any clues, possibly in connection with the missing weapon, because from what we can gather, based on the backpack that was found on Friday by NYPD investigators, it did not contain the gun. So the NYPD investigators out here yet again on this rainy Monday, searching for a weapon, quite possibly. We also saw earlier this morning the NYPD's K-9 unit, multiple dogs that were out searching for clues here in Central Park. And of course, all of this shows the hard work of the NYPD, making this, of course, the utmost priority for them, because they see this as being a brazen attack in Midtown Manhattan during broad daylight. And so they've been trying to piece together the suspected shooter's movements before, during, and after. And as you mentioned, now possibly a big development with this investigation into this killing, where you've got law enforcement sources telling Vermont that a man is in custody, is being questioned in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The NYPD reports en route to Pennsylvania now to assist with that questioning. And also mentioned that they believe that the person in custody right now has connection to the important police weapon that the NYPD has been telling us on year one for many days now, that the suspect, the alleged suspect, should be Thompson. And the owner is garnering attention of Americans as well as worldwide viewers, and that might be offering a $10,000 reward for any information arrest and conviction. And the FBI, for its part, are just that look like that is offering us
everybody, and who am I reading? You borrow this? I really appreciate it. My name's Mike, right?
Yeah.
My name's Stephanie.
You call me Nash. This is a lot of my phone.
Nash? Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. Nash.
Have a good one.
Aquariums are okay with. It's good to see you. Yeah? You know the boathouse out there?
Just like the cover of it. Give this real quick. Put it on the tripod on. Put an umbrella over it.
Oh, yeah.
It works.
I'm assuming you're the whole car.
Yeah,
I was literally just I just got my album pretty up here. I did not bring the whole kit and caboodle, sadly.
I get you. So if you ever want to invest in one of these, it actually works really well. You get a little more connection. More peace of mind.
That is true. You've been better visuals with snow. With snow, you would have pretty good visuals. they were looking.
Something happened to Luigi Mangione.
No, it's like whatever. Get her on. No problem.
Hey, it's Nash. Oh, looks like I'm all clear. You can stop my live again.
What? You did?
Good afternoon, and I'm joined here today by our Chief of Detectives and the Police Commissioner and Chief of Department because we have a strong person of interest in the shooting that shook our city last week. CEO Brian Thompson of United Healthcare was the victim of a senseless act of violence. Our officers have been working around the clock. Many of them did not go home to pursue this individual. It was crucial that we were able to remove him off the streets of America, and we were going to seek him out no matter where he was at the time. And so this is a strong person of interest. The police commissioner and chief of detectives will go over where we are right now in the investigation. He matches the description of the identification we've been looking for. He's also in possession of several items that we believe will connect him to this incident. How did we do it? Good old-fashioned police work. The chief of detectives and the police commissioner made the decision to release as much of a photo that we had at the time. We sent it across the country, and someone, a McDonald's employee, did something we ask every American to do. If you see something, say something, but most importantly, do something. And they did. And because of that, we believe we have a strong person of interest to deal with this case. I want to now turn it over to the Police Commissioner of the City of New York, Commissioner Tisch.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Earlier this morning in Altoona, Pennsylvania, members of the Altoona Police Department arrested Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old male, on firearms charges. At this time, he is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan. The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport. Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by our wanted individual. Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into his New York City hostel before the shooting incident. Additionally, officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset. NYPD detectives are en route to Pennsylvania as we seek to interview the subject further. This apprehension is thanks to the tireless work of the greatest detectives in the world, and of course, the strong relationships we have with our local law enforcement partners. On every level, local, state, and federal, we all serve the same public safety mission. And this case, which captured the attention of an entire nation, is another example of how connected we are and how important it is to work together, share information, and pursue every lead. For just over 5 days, our NYPD investigators combed through thousands of hours of video, followed up on hundreds of tips, and processed every bit of forensic evidence, DNA, fingerprints, IP addresses, and so much more to tighten the net. We deployed drones, canine units, and scuba divers. We leveraged the domain awareness system, Argus cameras, and conducted aviation canvasses. And our detectives also went door to door, interviewing potential witnesses and doing the good old-fashioned police work that our investigators are famous for. This combination of old school detective work and new age technology is what led to this result today. And we must also acknowledge the instrumental role the media and the public played in this case. The images that we shared with the public were spread far and wide, and the tips we received led to the recovery of crucial evidence. We should never underestimate the power of the public to be our eyes and our ears in these investigations. This is the third time in 3 weeks that a member of the public has seen something and said something and done something that led to a high-profile arrest. The triple stabbing homicide in Manhattan, the gunpoint robberies in Queens during which an NYPD officer was shot, and now this. Now the case will continue through the criminal justice process. And while we are proud of today's accomplishment, we must, of course, remember that a family is in mourning. I want to again extend my sympathies to Brian's family, his co-workers, and all who knew him. Finally, I want to thank the women and men of the NYPD, especially our Detective Bureau personnel, with a strong assist from our intelligence analysts. We also thank the SAC of the FBI's Criminal Investigative Division, Leslie Rodriguez-Bekshies. And I want to commend the staff of the Manhattan DA's office, and especially DA Alvin Bragg. He has been working with us 24/7 on this case, and I am incredibly grateful for his partnership. I'll now pass it along to our great Chief of Detectives, Joe Kenny, who will provide additional information. Chief.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. As the Commissioner stated earlier, a male was taken into custody today in Altoona, Pennsylvania this morning. He has been identified as Luigi Nicholas Mangione. He's a male, 26 years old. He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York. Members of the NYPD Detective Bureau are currently traveling to Pennsylvania with members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to interview this subject. This case was brought to a successful conclusion based on the coordinated effort between numerous NYPD units, including the Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau, our federal partners at the FBI, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and of course, members of the Altoona Police Department in Pennsylvania. On Thursday, one day after this crime was committed, the NYPD released a photo of the shooter in this case. This picture was obtained by the NYPD during one of their extensive video canvasses. We took that photograph and we asked for the public's help in identifying this subject, and the public responded. Hundreds of tips began to pour into our hotline. Each tip was investigated thoroughly, and we began to release additional photographs as they came into our possession. The NYPD provided these photos to numerous media outlets. Local, national, and international outlets released the photo via television, print, social media, and online content. Luckily, a citizen in Pennsylvania recognized our subject and called local law enforcement. Members of the Altoona Police Department responded to the call, and based on their investigation, they notified the NYPD. This investigation is still active and ongoing. Thank you very much.
I had a couple questions about the document that he was found in possession with. Can you go a little bit more in depth about those motivations that you mentioned? Was that CEO specifically named in that document? Was there anything more about him wanting to go after others? And also in that document, was there any indication that explains us how the level of detail that he went into killing him? Like, is there anything?
Like I said, that document is currently in the possession of the Altoona Police Department as part of their investigation. But just from briefly speaking with them, we don't think that there's any specific threats to other people mentioned in that document. But it does seem that he has some ill will toward corporate America.
Over here, sir.
MJ?
Chief, was the suspect wearing a mask at the time he was spotted in McDonald's? And also, criminal cases often have a linchpin. Can you point to a single linchpin that helped crack this case?
There's numerous linchpins in this case, in the fact that we've recovered an enormous amount of forensic evidence, an enormous amount of video, and once again, with your help and the public's help. So I really couldn't put it on one thing, but if I had to, it would be the release of that photograph from the media.
Dean? You said he had a passport on him. Do you believe he was trying to flee the country? And also, are you still looking for any evidence in Central Park in regards to the bike?
We had divers in the water yesterday. That came up negative results. The passport, we don't believe that he was planning on doing any traveling at this time. We don't think at this point in our investigation, we don't think he was trying to flee the country.
The person at the McDonald's, were they buying food? What were they doing at that exact moment?
He was an employee at the McDonald's.
Right. But what was the suspect doing?
He was sitting there eating.
Will the suspect be brought back to New York and charged here, and when?
We're going to have to work that out with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He's going to be facing gun charges there, and at some point we'll work out through extradition to bring him back to New York to face charges here, working with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
Hi, Anita from the New York Post. I was just hoping to get more details on the capture itself. Did he put up a fight? Did he say anything to cops? And we've also reported that he published online anti-health care industry rantings. Can you share with us some of the services that he posted on?
We're still working through his social media. We're going to do a complete scrub of that. Preliminarily, like I said, he seems that he has some ill will toward corporate America, but that will all come out as part of our investigation. We're not done here. We're still going to be putting this together. We're still going to be working very hard to bring this to a successful conclusion.
And the capture itself, did he put up a fight? Did he say anything to police?
I don't have that information.
Oh, sorry. Can you elaborate on how he got there, the path he took from Port Authority and on the George Washington Bridge to Altoona, PA? Same thing.
This just happened this morning. We'll be working, backtracking his steps from New York to Altoona, Pennsylvania.
I was going to ask if we knew anything, if he took a bus to Philadelphia first and then somehow got to Altoona. But
We're still working on that. We're still working through that.
Is there any indication that anybody else was helping him from the inside, as far as tracking the CEO's movements?
Once again, we're still working this investigation very hard. It's not at its conclusion yet. That could come out during our investigation, but as of right now, we have no indication that that took place.
Chief, did he have any weapons or anything like that with him when he was arrested?
He was in possession of a ghost gun that had the capability of firing a 9mm round and a suppressor.
Can you get into a little bit about the technical aspects of the investigation? I know you deployed an unprecedented amount of technology. You also activated the Sentry program through Intel. Can you talk about how that is going to play into actually building the case as far as cell phone and all of the other technical aspects of what you've done?
In this case, it really came down to technology was the use of drones in Central Park, and really comes down to the video canvas that we did. We used every source of video that we could collect, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours from hundreds of sources, and that helped bring this to where we are right now.
The gun is it believed to be the gun you used in the shooting? And there was some talk that it was a veterinarian type gun. Is that accurate?
No, as of right now, the information we're getting from Altoona is that the gun appears to be a ghost gun. May have been made on a 3D printer. The capability of firing a 9mm round, obviously that will come out during our ballistics testing.
Oliver?
Yeah, Oliver Barnes from the Financial Times. Do you have any indication how long this handwritten, is it a handwritten manifesto that you found on the suspect? And then also whether or not he put it online at all?
Don't know if it's online. As of right now, it's a handwritten 3-page document.
Chief, does he have ties to that area, and was he someone who you knew by name before his arrest?
We believe he may have attended college in Pennsylvania, but like I said earlier, he has ties to Maryland and California and Hawaii.
And you knew him by name before today? Was his name on your radar?
Excuse me?
Was his name on your radar? Was he someone who you had been looking into before his arrest?
No, we did not have his name prior to today.
Does he have any prior arrests? I know there were none for New York City, but is there any prior arrests anywhere else in the country?
We have not come across any arrests in the country.
Chief, hi, how are you? On two things. On the ghost gun, is it something you're going to be looking into to see if he made it himself and can he make that himself, or would he have to buy the gun the way it was?
No, once again, that'll be part of our investigation as we follow up.
I mean, obviously he's going to face murder charges, but is there any chance that he could face any other charges because he was targeting the CEO and because of his writings and other things that we're now finding on him? Potential federal charges or
That
other
determination will be made by Alvin Bragg.
Yes, what connections does he have in Pennsylvania that you know of? And are they in Altoona specifically?
We believe he attended college in Pennsylvania.
Does he know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Wouldn't be able to tell you that.
All right, we're going to take one more question on shooting, Marla, and then we're going to go. You talk about the manifesto having said things against corporations, but specifically United Healthcare, and do you believe that Mangione acted alone?
We believe at this point, our investigation is leaning toward he was acting alone. So, like I stated earlier, we're still working through the investigation. We're not stopping today. And as far as the manifesto, like I said, I don't have the complete details of that. It's in the possession of the Altoona Police Department.
We're going to shift to opt-out.
Yep. Good job, Chief. Commissioner. Chief Mangione. Again, great job by the New York City Police Department. Certain aspects of this investigation and the crime itself is something that we have been zeroing in on. Ghost guns. We have really talked about this since the beginning of the administration. They could be made on a 3D printer, and they are extremely dangerous, and we must do more on the federal level to clamp down on the availability of ghost guns. And it just really leads into just the top headers of what we did last week and what we're doing this week. This week is all about public safety. Public safety, I've stated over and over again, is a prerequisite to our prosperity, and we're going to continue to make this city a safe city. It's the safest big city in America, but anytime you have a crime of this magnitude, it shocks us, and it really has a major impact on the perception of crime in this city. This crime has continued to go down. We're going to continue to do what's needed. Today we announced an Every Block Count initiative, and the blocks that we identified since October, they have not had one shooting or one shots fired job that came over. We're going to add that on to our community link operation that has resulted in over 1,000 operations and over 700 complaints resolved, nearly 16,000 summonses issued, and over 200 people placed in shelter. Our community link initiative is extremely important. It operates every day across the city, removing ghost cars, targeting illegal vendors, and addressing the everyday problems that make New Yorkers feel unsafe. The precincts where we have focused on our Every Block Count is the 73rd Precinct in Brooklyn and the 46th Precinct in the Bronx. These two precincts have historically seen high rates of violent crimes and shooting incidents, and so we want to make sure we deal with all of those quality of life issues that impacts why criminal behavior takes place. We don't want to only to be reactive, we want to be proactive. Hats off to the team. It's a big belief on my part. You have to dismantle the historic walls that kept us from operating together. FDNY, DSNY, DOB, DEP, HBD, NYCHA, Parks, DOT, and other community-based organizations are all part of this initiative with the local block CEO and many, many more agencies. You know, last week we announced Axe the Tax for working class. We're really pleased with this initiative. $62 million will be going back to those who are at 150% of poverty line. When you add that with our earned income tax credit and the other initiatives that we put in place, it clearly shows how important it is for us to focus on working class, low-income working class people. We really want to thank Senator Leroy Comrie and State Assembly Member Ronnie Bichat-Hermelin for carrying the bill. So, Amaris, why don't we open the floor to a few questions?
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
Good. Other big news today, Daniel Penny was found not guilty of the
Yes.
killing of Jordan Neely. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then another question. Last week on our morning show, you left the door open seemingly to rejoining the Republican Party. I wanted to know why you didn't say you're a proud Democrat. Do you find issues with your own party?
First, as I stated when this incident first happened with Jordan, that's my son's name. And so, these incidents that happen in the city is not only professional, but they're personal, and we take that with us. Jordan should not have had to die. And I strongly believe, as I've been stating, probably from day one, we have a mental health system that is broken. When you have someone repeatedly going through that system, that's a signature of failure. And we need help in Albany and in the city council. We can't sit back and mourn the loss of someone that is caught up in the system when we're not taking the action every day. But a jury of his peers heard the case, saw all the facts and all the evidence, and made a decision. And I joined DA Braggs in stating that I respect the process.
And then on my second question last week on leaving the door open about joining the Republican Party on our morning show, why didn't you say you're a proud Democrat, and do you find issues with your own party?
No, it's amazing how things take legs and create their own creative writing style. I never stated that I was not running as a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat as a senator, as a borough president, as a mayor, and I won. I'm running as a Democrat. I was on Channel 11, and they asked the same question. I said the same thing. I am true blue, but I'm also a true blue-collar mayor. And the American people in general, but specifically here in the city of New York, they're tired of this squabbling after campaigns are over. I don't think anything is more infuriating than while you are dealing with everyday crisis, people are having an intellectual conversation of parties. When I took office as a police officer and as an elected official, I pledged allegiance to the United States of America. That's what I said on your show. And how did I run wild? That's just the nature of the creativity that comes from your industry. I ran as a Democrat, I'm going to run as a Democrat, and I'm going to win as a Democrat like I did the last time. Good to see you. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Good, good.
I was wondering if you could follow up on another comment you made over the weekend about the potential of invoking executive action to override the council and sanctuary city laws. Can you give us any other details about what you're considering doing? I think you expressed why, but any details about any new policy you're presenting? And one quick follow-up to Kelly's question. Do you think the verdict in the Daniel Penny case says anything about the mood of the city, and do you feel like it opens the door for maybe more of these interactions of people taking justice into their hands, so to speak?
Yeah, good question. And I'll answer the latter first. What you see, what people often do, a lot of people make interpretations, about trials, but juries are in the courtroom. They're hearing every piece of evidence. They are hearing the testimonies. They have to make the decision. And that's the system that we have. And actually, it is probably one of the best systems on the globe. And I think the juries heard the evidence and made a determination based on the evidence that they heard. And does it impact what's going to happen throughout the city, that people are not going to take action or going to take action? I don't think it does. I think that oftentimes people make these decisions when they are in the midst of it. And there's a desire of New Yorkers to help out those who are in need. There's a desire of New Yorkers to always respond when they believe it's necessary. And I don't think that is going to change in any way. This is not the first time, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last time, that individuals take actions, and people are going to question about those actions that happen. But at the cornerstone and the heart of this is that this young man, like so many others that are on our subway systems, I made it clear. That's not a place to sleep, to live. That's not a place to be. And when they need help, we need to give them the help that they have. What was your first question?
Quickly, us any more details about what you're
Just the
thinking
sanctuary
about the
city.
sanctuary city?
I have not been unclear about this. I've been extremely clear. I've said it over and over again. I said it last year sometime. The part of the law that the city council, they have refused to change, that we cannot communicate with ICE when people commit serious violent acts. I disagree with that. That was not the sanctuary city law that Mayor Koch put in place. It was not the sanctuary city law that Mayor Bloomberg did. The previous administration made a major change. And there was a report over the weekend where a councilperson stated that, why don't you just open up the federal ICE office on Rikers Island? We can't. It's right. So, one should know what the law is and what the law isn't. And if I had legal standings to overturn that law, then that's the conversation I want to have with the court counsel. When we feel the law is unjust, we go to our court counsel and say, do we have legal standards? We're not going to do frivolous lawsuits just to say we're doing a lawsuit.
I was just curious, are you going to add crime? Because there is a list of crimes where someone committed them. You can release a detainer if ICE has a judicial warrant. So is it a matter of adding more crimes? Is it a matter of what you just mentioned, allowing ICE to work on city property? Any specifics you can give us?
My directions to the Corp Council was to give me my options on what I could do as the mayor and what EO I can actually put in place. They are looking through the options. They're extremely clear on my feelings about people who harm innocent New Yorkers and people who harm migrants and asylum seekers. I'm clear on that no one in this city should be the victim of a violent crime. And so they're looking at that, and once we make a determination, I can circle back.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
How are
How are you?
Good, thank you. I just wanted to circle back onto the Daniel Penny verdict. Should the governor remove District Attorney Alvin Bragg after losing this case, which you previously signalled is a case that should not have been brought forward? And then I just wanted to follow up with, is the jury's decision a reflection that New Yorkers are sick of a soft-on-crime justice system?
Sick of what?
They're sick of a soft-on-crime justice system.
No, she should not remove D.A. Bragg's. The people voted for the district attorney. We have a process, and I am totally against using mechanisms to overstep the boundaries of the electeds. And so, no. And we've had great partnership with the district attorney and some of the things that we have done in the city, and we look forward to continue to do that. New Yorkers have always been tired of things that allow people who commit violent acts to be part of a revolving door system. I've talked about this over and over again, that we need to deal with those who are repeatedly dealing with carrying out violent acts and those who need help. 18 to 20% of those who are on Rikers Island have severe mental health issues. 51% have mental health issues. That's why my call of using one of the 4 jails that we're opening to turn it into a state-of-the-art psychiatric facility. We could do a better job, and we could do better resources, and it can't be waiting until these incidents happen, then everybody stands up and says something's wrong. We need to stand up before something happens.
Hi, Mayor.
How are you, Emily?
Good. When you meet with Tom Homan this week, are you planning to talk with him about migrants who are living in the shelter system? And do you plan to express anything to him about the threats of deportation, about your concerns about people who are here who are law-abiding?
We're going to have a host of conversations, but at the root of my conversation is how do we secure our border. I want to share some of my strategies. We need a real decompression strategy. It's important to go after those who are committing serious crimes, particularly those dangerous gangs that have come from Venezuela, and now we're finding them on the streets of our country. And I'm interested to hear his ideas on how we're going to go about that, and I'm excited about the conversation.
Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
On the Daniel Penny verdict, too, I understand you're saying you respect the process. I'm just wondering if you think this is the right verdict. You said last week that you wanted the jury to reach the right verdict. You also said last week that Mr. Penny did, quote, what we should have done as a city in his interaction with Jordan Neely. I'm just wondering if you can elaborate a little bit on what you meant by that on a totally different issue. There was a mayoral forum over the weekend specifically about housing, where 3 candidates committed to quote-unquote freezing the rent, more or less directing the rent guidelines board to not do an increase next year. Is that something you would support, and if not, why? And on these mayoral forums, you didn't show up to this one. Are you going to show up to any of these, or why do you keep skipping?
Yeah, the first, do I think it's the right verdict or the wrong verdict? The jury made their decision. I respect, like the DA, I respect the process. And that was the process. And what I was saying about we should have been standing up for those passengers. That's what we should have done for the city. And standing up for those passengers mean address the mental health crisis we have in the city, and not just wait until incidents like this happen. And determination of him that he stood up, rightfully or wrongfully, that came in front of a jury of his peers. What was your second question?
The mayoral forum over the weekend.
Yeah, we got many forums that are going to take place, and you know what I've learned when I was campaigning. A lot of people talk about the ideas of what they can do, what they want to do. One thing no one can say, I did it. All the things that I said, for the most part, that I was going to do, from dyslexia screening to reducing tax on low-income New Yorkers to bringing down crimes to high-speed broadband for NYCHA residents to investing in foster care children, to do tax incentives for low-income New Yorkers to turn around the unemployment rate. I can give you the whole list. So what they're doing is wishful thinking. I put the team together to make it happen for housing conversion, and I'm happy to hear that they all have woke up and realized we have a housing crisis, and now they're coming up with visions. But it's starting from the fact we had the most comprehensive housing reform in the history of the city. That's what we got to remind everybody. And all those who are running that are elected already, the question should be, where have you been? So if you had all these visions before, don't wait until you decide to run for mayor. We're doing it. And so good luck to them. And I'm looking forward to some of the forums and some of the debates. I'm looking forward to them because I have something to run on, not just a dollar in a dream.
But specifically freezing rent, is that something you would support for the RGP?
Mr. Mayor, so this morning the City Council and Public Advocate filed a lawsuit over your suspension of the local law 42, I believe, the solitary confinement bill. I'm just wondering what your reaction is to that, they're trying to prevent you from suspending that law.
And it would be played out in courts. We just have a difference of opinion here. First of all, we don't have a sanctuary city. I mean, we don't have a solitary confinement, and I don't know why they keep saying that. We don't have a solitary confinement. And I'm not a hard guy to figure out. I made it clear over and over again. Public safety. And I don't go to Rikers Island just to, have a photo op. When I went on Thanksgiving Day, it was to talk to the correction officers and the inmates. It was to walk through and see, are we making progress? I've been on Rikers Island more than any mayor in the history of this city. And my job is to make sure correction officers are safe, the civilian employees are safe, and inmates are safe. 80% of those who are assaulted on Rikers Island are assaulted by other inmates. And I need to make sure that they're safe. And the way the law was written, it jeopardized their safety, and we took necessary steps after communicating with the Corporation Council and the courts to make that decision.
Yeah, Mayor Adams, with the CEO shooting, there was a constant stream of updates, surveillance images, Crime Stopper alerts, TV news spots, requests for information from the NYPD. But I wanted to ask you about the killing of a migrant teenager last week in the financial district. A group of men attacked him and another migrant after reportedly asking him whether he spoke English or not. What updates do you have in that case? And do you have images of the suspects in that case? And if so, why haven't those been publicized as we saw in this other case? And has the same amount of police resources been spent on his death as the CEO's death?
First and foremost, the fact pattern that you just described about asking, did he speak English, that was not in any of the reports, that was not in any of the interviews, because I specifically asked the investigators and the commissioner, and that wasn't any documentation or any of the interviews that took place. Any loss is a huge loss. And there are aspects of that incident that is slightly different from what was reported and is currently receiving the necessary manpower to bring the person to justice. And we don't believe a loss of a death of an innocent life should be ignored. But when you have a specifically targeted shooter, we didn't know if this person was going to carry out additional shootings. We didn't know if this person was a serial shooter. We didn't know what we had. We knew we had to take him off the streets of the city. So the urgency was not so much that was he a CEO in comparison to someone that's a low-income New Yorker? No, it's not. We did not know what we had and what was going to be the extent of that. And as it was just mentioned, some of the preliminary reporting that the chief gave us is that he was showing a total, appeared to be a distaste for corporate America. So we didn't know what was next. And we did the necessary decision to make sure we brought this person to justice and took him off the streets of New York.
So if the reporting hasn't been accurate, do you have any updates on that case?
We're actually moving on. Morgan?
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, Morgan, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So on the man believed to be the suspect here, one of the reasons why you guys got a good look at him is because he was able to pull his mask down in the hostel. Just wondering if this is prompted you to renew your call to have people not wear masks when they go inside businesses. And then my second question is, you said that you're going to run as a Democrat, but you said you're also a blue-collar mayor. Do you feel like the Democratic Party has strayed away from its blue-collar roots?
I think it was last year, early this year, mayor's dog years, we called to say, when you go into businesses and establishments, ask people to temporarily remove their mask. We can close these cases in hours when if everyone will cooperate and just say temporarily pull down your mask. You don't have to permanently take it off, but once you get that video, once you get that picture, then you are in a good place. And we're going to ask our Uber, Lyft, taxis, all of them to act the same. When you get inside someone's taxi, someone's cab, someone's for hire vehicle, you should have that person pull down their mask so you can see who they are, and many of our vehicles have cameras inside. That would assist us greatly to apprehend the person involved and send the information across the country. And so I will continue to advocate a very smart, simple way of having a great tool for law enforcement, and we want to continue to do that.
And then the second question, you said that you're going to run as a Democrat,
Yes.
but
The Democratic groups,
yeah.
right. No, I think that we are not doing a good job in speaking to working class people. And I've said this over and over again, and I said it pre-election, that our conversation is and must be, as what we've attempted to do in this administration, from housing to bringing down the cost of child care to all the other initiatives. We wanted to speak to working class people, and that's what I hear from working class people every day. And while they are hurting, they don't want this intellectual conversation that I believe the party started to do. You look at what we did here in New York. The minority leader in Congress, Hakeem Jeffries, was able to secure many of his seats here because those candidates were having a working class people conversation, and that's what I think the party needs to do.
About the mask ban,
Yes.
I know that the governor has also been talking about pushing for a ban maybe in subways. You've talked about it. Would you go to some kind of legal ban or something that you present before the city council?
I think it's a combination from our preliminary review. It's a combination from the city council and a combination from the state. We had a ban in place, and it was removed after COVID. I think we need to re-examine having that put back in place. And I know the governor has voiced some interest in it. And I think that what we saw here it is maybe this would give the wind in the sail to bring this home. One thing is clear that, you know, thank God, you know, this person didn't go out and harm other individuals. The longer he stayed on the streets, the more dangerous it could have been.
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
What's up, Liz? How are you?
Good. Just wanted to clarify something. You talked about this last week, too.
Yes.
Would you prefer to see an undocumented person who's accused of a violent crime? Would you prefer to see that person serve out their sentence before being handed over to federal authorities? Or would you be willing to hand them over to federal authorities before that verdict and before the sentencing is announced?
My desire is to give the member of the public who's the victim of that crime, they should serve their sentence. I want to hear what the borders are, what his ideas are, because justice is making sure that person serves the sentence. If that person commits a serious violent act and he's automatically cut loose, we can find that person back on our streets. And you can find that person, not every country will make sure that person serves out his time. If there's a way to have an agreement that they serve out their time in that country, I can live with that. But I think a family member who lost a loved one, who was viciously assaulted, who was harmed in serious ways, particularly our 7 major crimes, they should get some sort of justice. And many of our borders in other countries lax in ensuring that that person does not come back into our city. Nothing would be more horrific that a person commits a serious crime and that person is immediately released without serving that time, and that family is not receiving any justice, and they come back on our streets. That's why we have to secure our border.